What's up, everybody? You're tuned into another episode of
Girl, I'm Grown.
I am Key.
I'm Sierra.
And I'm Cece.
And today we're going to be catching up with Cece. Miss Cece, baby.
I mean, don't forget the baby.
Sierra always says this thing about Cece being a Scorpio and being like secretive and sneaky. So we want to just dig into your business and hopefully you open up to us because you are a little secretive. So the last time we were recording on Girl, I'm Grown, you were in what I would call, I don't know if you would call it the same thing, a situationship.
That's what it was.
You think it was a situationship?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so as far as being in a situationship, are you still in a situationship?
No, I am not in a situationship. That is completely done.
Let me just say this. Cece was in this situationship with this man, right? I've been doing my research. I went back and listened to some past videos.
Yeah.
And the thing that stood out to me the most, Sierra was asking you about this amazing guy that you were with.
Yeah.
And she was like, so y'all not together, right? You was like, no, we're not together. She was like, okay, so you're single and he's single, so you can technically date other people if you want to. And you was like, no, I don't want to date other people. And she was like, okay, but you could. He could. I don't want to date other people. You like shut it down.
Yeah.
I'm not dating other people. I don't want to date other people.
I was in love.
This is gonna be my man. We is together in this situationship, and we gonna flourish. So
let me start from the beginning. When we met, he was this amazing person, and I have a list of what I want my husband to be, and he fit everything on that list, right? Everything. I didn't alter it or anything like that. 3 months into us dating, he broke up with me. I didn't know we were in a relationship. I didn't. No, I'm being honest. And I said that to him. I was like, wait, we were together? He's like, well, we've been exclusive dating. I was like, but we never put a title on it. So for me, if we don't talk about it and, make it official, we're not in a relationship, right?
Right.
And I'm a very relational person as well. So he broke up with me. And the first time he did it, it was because every time he did it, okay, let's be real, it's because I asked him questions and about his behavior. Okay, so although he was this perfect man to me, I mean, he checked off everything on my list, like God-fearing, he was a family-oriented person, we prayed together, he treated me like a queen. And if y'all know me, y'all know every guy I've dated always taking care of me financially. And going into this situationship that I was in, it wasn't about the finances for me, and that's when I knew it was real for me. Okay, because any other time, my hand is out. Exactly. That's just what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that lets you, especially my friends and people, know like the level of where I am with somebody, right? And so there was a pattern with us. He was great. He did all the things that I like. The flowers every week. The foot rubs after work. The consistency of being this person, like the good morning text, the prayers and things like that, right? He was praying for me. And it was beautiful to me because I had never had someone to do that, right? But then we take it back to when we first met, before we even started hanging out and dating. He studied me, and I didn't learn this until after the fact. So he became the man I desired him to be by me speaking, and I'm open. When I meet somebody and I date somebody, I'm an open book. Like I tell you all the things, right? And I learned that that's not something that I can do. You know what I mean? Like I have to pull back a little bit. It's in stages. And the first time it happened, and then the first time it happened, it was probably a week before we were back in our pocket. But that gave him the ability to set it up as a situationship.
So let me just interrupt you real quick. So when you're in a situationship with somebody and they break up with you, that means that they're interrupting the situation. So what does that look like?
Situationship initially, that's the thing. He turned it into, that's why I say after that first breakup that I wasn't aware of, he turned it into a situationship. So we're single.
Yeah. Because
you put the title in there when you broke up. You remember when somebody was like, meet me, didn't tell nobody about his baby mama, but he told me they broke up, right?
Yeah.
That's how it was. It was like, you told me we were broken up, but you never said we were together. So what he did was he got me on the hook. He did all the good things, all the things that I desired, everything that I wanted in a man. He did all those things within that first 3 months. Okay, and that got me on the hook of like, oh my gosh, he's perfect. He's amazing. Like, this is the man I've always wanted. And then when you broke up with me, you put us in a situationship. So that way, plausible deniability. Like, you can do what you want to do, right? And I'm a realistic person, so that was my thought the whole time, because now I'm like, we're not in a relationship. There's no title on there, so you can technically do what you want. And I used to say those things like, but I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to do what I want. All the while, you're doing what you want to do. But when you get upset when I say something, it's we're not together. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? So you put us in this position. I accepted it because I'm thinking I would rather, and I said this so many times, and I really hate that I said this, but I did speak this. I said, I would rather deal with what I have now and him than to be out here dealing with guys that aren't giving me half of that. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, I can make my own money. Yeah. And most guys I deal with, they come with money. And I mean a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it was always a forefront for me because I wasn't ready. How you said you weren't ready. Mm-hmm. When I lost my mom at 19, I was shut off to dating for real, like being emotional. So I was just kicking it, having a good time. You know, I mean, trips and shopping and stuff like that, bills paid. But I wasn't mentally and emotionally ready to receive what I always knew I desired.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so it became a pattern with us every 3 months. So whoever it was that he was dealing with, they didn't require a lot of attention because we were together consistently. Practically lived together. Okay? We were always together. We worked together, you know, things like that. So there was, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, no, plus he's very transparent. Mm-hmm. But to a certain point. Like I had his password when we first met. He gave me the password to his phone. Gave it to me, but you know I'm not gonna go through your phone because I got the password. Why do I have to? What are you not gonna hide anything? You know what I mean? You would tell me like, so the thing that I had a problem with initially was the ex-girlfriends. Mm-hmm. Like, why are you having to stay in communication? Like, you know, you were transparent. Like my ex-girlfriend, you know, she's probably gonna call a little bit more right now because she's going through something. You know, she wanting to talk it through, and I'm like, yeah, I don't like all that because I don't keep up with my exes. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not me. I just don't feel like that's healthy. You know, in a relationship. Right. And then you start to see these things unfold where they have too much access to your life. But you already got me in check now. So I'm walking on eggshells. You understand what I'm saying? And if y'all can remember, like when I first started talking about it to y'all, I think that was like a year in. But then it was like one time it happened, it was around my birthday. He broke up with me before my birthday because his actions were not where they should have been, and I asked him about it. Sierra, you said something one time. You always know how to be a man's piece. That's who I am.
Right.
Like I've always been that girl, right? So I knew it wasn't me in the sense of, you know, I be my piece. No, that's not.
Let me ask you something. Yeah. Did he ever come in belittling you?
So here's the thing. He didn't come in doing it, but he started to do it, but in a different way. So like, I've never been an insecure female. Like, I've always held my head up high. Very confident, right? However, I became so insecure in this situationship because he would say things about different people. Like, you would bring up an ex-girlfriend that's an attorney or ex-girlfriend that's a doctor. I didn't go to college. You know, my life changed when my mom passed away. So everything is different. My life is good. You know what I'm saying? So I never felt insecure about that. But he would, you know, plant those little seeds or saying certain things like, well, you know, I dated somebody like this. Oh, but I don't require this. You know what I'm saying? But you're placing doubt because you're seeking out, like you're constantly seeking out.
Okay, fuck them student loans.
But no, like his pattern was seeking out those type of people to make me feel less than what I knew I was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've dated college educated men, and I'm perfectly fine. I can have a conversation with anybody, and I can stand toe to toe with the best of them, right? But with him, it was almost, you know, he's college educated, and he always brings up this person, that person. So it did plant a little insecurity because I'm like, wait, am I not enough? You know what I'm saying? Because you keep doing certain things, and then you break up because he said to me, I was questioning his integrity. Here's the thing. I have somebody that I dated in the past that was a man of integrity. Never lied about anything, and some stuff I wish he would have. You understand what I'm saying? So I know the difference, right? And so I will always come back where I'm not questioning your integrity, I'm questioning your actions. You know, for me, consistency is important, right? So if you're doing certain things and then this one day out of every 3 months, this one day, y'all, so whoever she was, one day, that's all they needed, right?
Is it a story time?
No.
Okay.
I don't go there yet. But it was that one day for me, it's consistency. So you would do something out of the ordinary, and I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. So I'm questioning, like, wait, we don't really do X, Y, and Z. Well, this is what I'm talking about. I need somebody to trust me. And I mean, you questioning my integrity. I'm a man of integrity, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, so then you're manipulating me. And then it goes to the gaslighting. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what I'm seeing in you, and you're making me think I'm crazy. And guess what? I'm crazy.
Let me interrupt you, Cece, because Sierra and I both look at you like, even though she's the oldest, like the big sister. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We look at you like the big sister because as far as your mentality and way you give advice as far, us being women and just a level of understanding certain things about me. Okay, I'll speak for myself. Even though I do see you looking for guidance through her sometimes, and you complimenting her on certain attributes that she have that are really great. So that's the only reason why I include you in. So I speak for myself.
Yeah.
So you is older than me, so I kind of not like a big sister, but like certain things I would ask you advice on as far as dealing with niggas, like knowing how to don't tolerate that, cut that off. You've told Sierra that a whole bunch of times, but that's why I pulled you in. But how is it, like, did you have a moment of when your intuition was kicking in and telling you, hey, you see this, right? Like the same shit you'll be telling me or the same thing you'll be telling her, was that going off in your brain when you were?
It was, but his power over me was stronger than my intuition and who I am initially. Like usually.
Was it the sex? How?
It was.
How do you think it got?
Okay, so when I talked to my therapist, so let me go back. I isolated myself from my friends and my family after a while. Mm-hmm. The time I told y'all, that first time I said, we done. I don't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you shut us down real quick.
I began to isolate myself because y'all know me, my family, like the people that are close to me, they know me, so I can't put on a fake smile around you. I can't pretend like everything's okay. So that's what I began to do, because it's like, I'm staying in this. I'm not getting out of it. Like, this is the man I want. This is the man I prayed for. This is the man I pray with. So y'all ain't gonna get me to leave him. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I was mentally and emotionally. Like, okay, he's doing all these things. Like, but it's every 3 months. We get right back. Here's the crazy thing. Like, you break up and we back together in 2 days. When I've calmed down. You know what I mean? And he said things sometimes like, all you gotta do is act right. I'm always acting right. Let's be real. Like, I am that girl. Okay, I am the partner that a man desires to be with, because I'm very supportive, and I'm always gonna act right. I'm gonna be your piece. I do the small things, the little things that you don't even think you need done, right? Mm-hmm. But that was another form of manipulation. So one day I was talking to my therapist, and I hadn't even shared with her what I was dealing with. I just kind of put out some characteristic traits of someone, right? And I started naming these things, and she said immediately, like, cut me off. She's like, you're describing a narcissist. And here's my thing, because I'm not big on the social media terms that people be throwing out there, like, and stuff like that. But I was like, wait, what? And I still didn't share it with her because I'm embarrassed at this point. I got to the point where I was embarrassed that I'm in this situationship with somebody that takes advantage of the level of support I have for my man. You know what I'm saying? So it's first, you need to focus on building a legacy. That was the first excuse. I need to focus on this. All the while, you got an ex-girlfriend that's been stalking me for 2 years on Instagram, and I didn't even know anything about it, right? And for me, anytime an ex-girlfriend or a female is watching another female, it's something going on between the two of you. She's feeling a way about something. It's still going on because she has too much access to your life, right? And so there were things like that. And for me, I'm like, and I'm very vocal. I'm gonna speak my mind, right? But I always do it with respect with anybody. And he would break me down to a point where it's like, I feel bad about it now. I'm apologizing to you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because I was wrong. Mm-hmm. And it was like, it was weighing on me so much. Like, it was tearing me down in a sense, like I'm losing my self-worth and my level of self-esteem.
Did he need constant validation?
From everybody.
Not just you.
Not just
so
you.
He's kind of like putting you down, but he wants to be validated.
Yes,
in what ways did you validate him?
He needs to be seen as this perfect person. Like, he needs to be seen as this. I mean, everybody's like, oh, he's such a gentleman, he's such this and the other, like this is who he is in front of everybody, right? So he does things that most men, these days, they're not opening the car door, they're not making sure people, you know what I'm saying, like waiting for the women, putting you in the inside on the, so he does all these things, and it's like everybody's looking at like, wow, you got the perfect man, like, oh my gosh.
Did you validate him in that way? Like, did you say things to him like, oh, you're such a perfect guy?
I always validated him.
She gave him words of affirmation.
I did. Well, I mean, things like, like, I appreciate who you are to me. I appreciate the things that you do, like all these things, like running me a bubble bath after work, when I come in, bubble bath is rain, I got wine by the bathtub, you got the music playing for me. These are the things he did. These are the things I always desired, right? But I think you did it because you knew that's what I desired, because we have these conversations, like for me, and I'm always be real. Yeah. I'm always like, you somebody paying the bill? You know what I'm saying? Like, but those are the people that I'm not serious about. It's just a fly-by-night type of situation. But with him, I didn't care about the money, and he knew that. So for him, it's like, I can compensate in these areas because this is what she desires.
I don't think he was spending money on another woman.
No. No,
so,
he wasn't.
Cece, not just to, I want to understand like where this took you.
Yeah.
So after going through that, because I can understand how you can be, because it's rare that we can just get, well, maybe not for you, because you was a hot girl, you got winded down by hella niggas. But sometimes when you selective, it's hard to come across men that'll really just pay that type of attention to you. You know what I'm saying? So knowing that you had that at your fingertips, what helped you to just snap out of it and say, you know what? He doing all of the things that I desire, but this is not what I want.
Oh no, he's always the one that leave. I don't leave. He left. That's why when you said that on the last episode about, you know, woman having to leave, he did it because what he's used to is leaving and put me in my place. That's what he does. So him leaving is put me in my place, because anytime he leaves, first of all, I'm the perfect partner to him. He said it so many times, like, you know, you're so supportive, like all these things I know about myself. He says those things, but the moment I step out of line and I ask you something about your behavior, then it's a problem, so you leave me. And I ain't never been up by no man. However, at this point, this last time for me was it, because like, you know, I done popped up, you got somebody at the house, you know what I'm saying? You dealing with somebody else at work, you know, things like that, that you always just, we just cool, this, that, and the other. And the type of women that, you know, that I've caught you with or known about, they don't have a mouthpiece. Like, they're scared to tell the truth. Or if I ask you, I'm not asking a female, like, so what's going on? Because for me, I'm not checking you. I'm not an aggressive person when it comes to girl. I'm a girl's girl. So for me, I'm going to look out for you, look out for me. You know what I'm saying? If you're dealing with a man like this, and he is like the apple of my eye, like he is everything, right? But for me, when stuff don't line up for me, I'm going to say something. I cannot not say anything. I'm not the person that's going to wait years to say something, months. I'm going to say it as soon as it pops up, right? And I ask, you know, these people, and, you know, everybody's like, well, you got to ask him. Ask him what? He going to lie. I'm asking you because I can remove myself. I can remove myself at this point. Because this point, it validates what I've been feeling for 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Because every time it's something, it's always me. It's never him. It's always, I'm delusional.
So when was enough when you come from under his gaze? And
well, it was just, I mean, feeling like, I think therapy helped me. I'll just say that, like, being able to identify the narcissism that, you know, that he presented, the mental manipulation, you know, the emotional abuse that I encountered. And I said this to y'all when we talked a few weeks ago, and don't take it personal or don't take it, you know, the wrong way, but I would rather have him put his hands on me.
I wish you would stop saying that.
I have to, because it really is, it's the truth. Physical abuse, and I'm so against that. I don't want a man putting his hands on me, but it's not worse than the mental and emotional abuse. That the wound that I have from that is worse than, you know, a sore arm, because the nigga ain't putting his hand on my face. You know what I'm saying? It's not that. It's worse. It feels like you're in this sunken place, and all of this is going on while I'm, you know, losing my dad. Like, you know, I mean.
Do you feel like you still love him?
No, I don't have any feelings for him. Like, I do not have any feelings for him at all. Like, that's something, I feel like for me, I'm in a stage where I don't even think about you. And I told y'all once before where I felt like I've never been in a relationship, and that's because of the consistency of men. Like, I feel like I've been in a lot of situationships. I don't think I've been in a full-term relationship with anybody. Just looking back, you know, like even talking to my therapist, like, you know, just putting everything out there on the table. And when I date, like, there's only 2 guys that I took serious. And we still didn't make it into a relationship, because even with him, it was, you know, it was short stop because he needed to do all these things he wanted to do. He wasn't ready to settle down, but to the world he was. Everybody else he was like, oh yeah, you know, I'm trying to make sure I'm good for my wife, you know, this, that, and the other. But no, you just like everybody else.
So I have a question for you, because I feel like something that may be similar or common even amongst us, but in some women, the way that we choose men. Do you really think you're ready for a relationship?
I'm not ready right now.
No, I mean at that time. Because you know, sometimes we'll choose somebody and they'll give us signs that maybe they're not all the way there, but we'll stay because we know that maybe we not all the way there.
At that point, I was ready. And before then, I wasn't. And I knew the difference. Like I told you, it was the money. I was trying to build. Like, I was in a space of building with somebody, like a real partnership, a teammate. I ain't never been like that. For me, it's, girl, you know, he did this, he did that. But that was more so like, I mean, everyday life together. You know, like making plans for our future, cooking together, you know, doing things like that. Like, I was in that space. I wasn't in a space where he whining and dining me, you know, he paying all my bills like most of them did, or taking me on trips and taking me shopping. It wasn't that type of thing for me. It was like he would send money and stuff like that randomly, but it was the flowers. It was, you know, the little things. That's what I desire. So for me, I was in a space where I was ready, mentally and emotionally. And the thing is, I knew I wasn't ready before because I was closed off to it. I had to protect myself for so long. I couldn't be vulnerable with anybody because my protector passed away when I was 19. My mom, that was my mouthpiece. I didn't have to speak up for nothing because she always had me. So my mentality shifted when I lost her because it was like, I got to make sure I'm good out here in this world. You know, I can't let nobody play me. You know, and that's how I played it. Like, no, you wasn't to play me. So anytime somebody got a little close, I'm like, we ain't doing that. Because I wasn't ready. And then I was. And then this is what happened. However, it's a lesson for me in this because I've always followed my intuition. Like, there was not a time I had somebody and, you know, something wasn't right that I didn't leave. Because everybody's like, you should give a second chance. I ain't never give second chances, ever. I was always out the door. The first wrong sneeze and I'm out. Gotta go. But this time, I think I was so open, but I feel like it was more so my desire, and it trumped everything for me. That desire of mine, the desire to have a partner and to build a life together and to finally settle down with somebody that I was equally yoked with, then that's why those blinders were on, because I'm looking at the dating scene like, it's, you know, it looks bad, but he's doing all of these things right. You know, minus a little one time every now and then. And I was literally, and that's when I felt like I started to lose myself because I never tolerated anything like that. Even in somebody I'm just dating. It's like all about me or nothing.
Yeah, because you'll definitely tell us like, no, you need to do this, you shouldn't do that.
And that's why I was so embarrassed. So I couldn't face y'all or anybody that knew me because that was the most embarrassing thing for me.
But that just goes to show you
being vulnerable with that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that just goes to show you how, even though that situation was fucked up, nigga, but it does show you how being vulnerable and being open like that can teach you something. It can show you something, because I didn't ask you yet, but I'm sure going through that experience will definitely prepare you for something later in the future. You know what I'm saying? You know what to pay attention to. You know how open to be. You can be reminded of a sign, or to listen to your intuition, or to say, no, this is not what I want. This is not what I'm tolerating, because it'll remind you of something that...
Yeah, I feel like going forward, when I am ready to, you know, get back out there, I do desire to still be vulnerable. I feel like, I think, and I got this from you, like being in my femininity, like, because I was always like, you know, I ain't, like, I'm cute, exactly, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna do it, but for me, it's like, I desire to be, you know, like, walk fully in my femininity. I desire to be vulnerable.
You do, though, and I feel like that's why it's so easy for you to be like that ideal girlfriend for men, because you do have that feminine energy that make a man want to naturally take care of and provide for, you know.
I mean, I see your point, but I think now, I think this situation has put me in a space of like, just don't even want nobody in my space. Like, I don't even want you talking to me, and I don't like being like that, because I'm a very social butterfly. Like, when it comes to people, like, I'm like a, you know, what do you know? I'm not,
like,
but
we're not gonna get
it's
this. Here, I have a piece of tissue.
I have my own.
Girl, you
Sorry, I have my own.
That was here when we got here.
No, I had wiped the glass out with that.
You were gonna give me, wow.
Girl, it was
no,
like the glass was washed. I was just trying.
Here's my thing. Not only was I embarrassed, I was like disappointed in myself. And my therapist, she said to me, you did the best that you could with the information that you had at the time. And the power that I gave him, I mean, I even talked to his mom, you know what I'm saying? And learned some things that made me feel like, wow, so it's not my fault. Because the things she said to me, I was like,
I think he did it. I do think he did a mental game.
He did. It was very mental.
Very...
He tore me down from the inside out. Because, I mean, I'm always look good. So you can't change that about me. You understand what I'm saying? But you can tear me
Make
down.
me feel like
I'm not enough or anything like that.
So where are you at right now? Do you just feel like closed off to dating, and is it from just that experience?
Just that experience. I've never been like that, and I think that right there, it makes me sad. Like recently, I went to like this little like a little bar or something with a friend, and when I tell you, I mean, it was so many men like drawn to me. I mean, they were coming left and right, and I did not have a word to say. I was like, no, I'm good. Like, I literally shot everything and everybody down there. It was a nice looking man, okay, very well established. But for me, it's like, and I think the fear comes from, how did I allow this man to get away with so much, right? Because I was always 10 steps ahead. I was always on the, what by? But I think I've gotten to a point where I doubt myself and, you know, my ability to read people like I used to. I know it comes from, you know, the mental manipulation, the gaslighting, and all those things from this one particular person, but I'm working on it, you know, in therapy, like, you know, just to break those walls back down, but in a healthier way. You know what I mean? Like to give myself grace. And, you know, my therapist, she's like, you know, nobody's perfect, and she hates that word. But I think I've always had to be perfect in a sense. And so I make a joke, you know, a lot. I'm like, all my friends went through their dumb phase in their 20s. Like, how come I didn't get a chance to do that? Where, you know, when I give y'all advice about stuff, and I'm like, now I'm in my 30s and I'm going through this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, why didn't y'all do it then? But it was because I was so closed off to it. See, I wasn't with the trying to be with somebody for real. Like, oh, I like him a lot. It was my baby, but I wasn't trying to settle down. You know what I'm saying? That was the last thing on my mind. It was for the moment for me. But the moment that I tried to, I think, and that just comes with growth for me, and like being able to see past, you know, what it is that I want from somebody.
So do you think that was like your first heartbreak?
Yeah, for sure, from a man, yeah. That was I mean, because I look back at all my little situationships back in the day, and I ain't gonna lie, I was pulling the strings on most of them. So it was not, anytime I was sad about something, I was probably pretending. And that's just being real. Like, I'm just being honest, you know what I'm saying? Because it was like, girl, I know I'm in control of this. I was always in control, and in this situation, I wasn't.
So, Cece, I just want to share something with you that my friend told me.
Okay.
When I went through my breakup or whatever, I was completely closed off from men. Like, I just felt like I was completely done.
Yeah.
And what he told me was, don't let the situation that you went through stop you from getting what it is that you truly desire. Because if you really want love and you want that person and that's something that you want, you can have that. Don't let that situation keep you from it, but let it just teach you, you know, how to go into the next season afterwards. So do what you gotta do, heal, get your shit together, get your mind right, and then get back up out here like me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know I ain't doing all that. But I do, I mean, I agree with that in a sense. But right now, it's just that I'm just terrified. Like, I just didn't. I never once in a million years think that somebody can play with me like that.
That's how it is when you go through your first heartbreak.
Yeah, like,
that shit kind of fuck you up.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it's like I doubted myself a lot for this man. Like, I let you trick me into thinking I was crazy.
Sometimes people go through that more than one time. Can you believe it?
Thinking, also, like, you made me question myself. You made me, you know, question my self-worth. You made me feel like I wasn't enough at times. And it's like, I've always known I was that girl. You know what I'm saying? Until I met you.
You know what love is not.
I do. And I've learned that. But I've also been able to identify, like, certain behaviors, you know, from people. And I'm learning to trust myself again. Because I've always trusted myself over anybody. I've always known. I peep red flags and I be out the door. Like, I've never given second chance to nobody. And I think that's what I made myself believe this time. Like, you know what? Stop being so hard on people.
Yeah.
You know, stop feeling like everything has to be X, Y, and Z. And so I talk myself, you know, into that. And I think, you know, I can take accountability in saying that I stayed longer than I should because it's just something I wanted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's something I really wanted. I was ready, you know. And I'm not closed off to love or, you know, finding that person. But right now I just need to work on myself and to, you know, gain the trust back into myself. You know what I mean? And it's very unfamiliar. It's very much so an unfamiliar territory for me. And you know, I'm all like, I think for me, like, he lied a lot about a lot of stuff. He's a good liar. And you know, I'm the honest person. I only lied to him about one thing, and that was it. And I feel like the whole relationship. What? I did. It was just one thing I lied about, and I feel like.
What was the lie?
I didn't want to. Well, I had told him I ain't never been on a private jet before. But I mean, I said that because I didn't want to, you know, like minimize like his efforts of trying to do something like that. And I was like, oh, I've never been, you know, but that was the only thing I lied to him about. Everything else I was always honest about. Mm-hmm. So sorry, not sorry.
Sierra, what you got to say? Because it's like
I want to know. I had some questions, but I think we're gonna table it for our next round table.
Okay.
A little chi coming up, so we got some stuff in store for y'all next time. But before we go, I want to ask you, Cece, what do you think is next for you?
Just more self-healing, like get myself prepared for the real man that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I'm still very much so hopeful. And I am a relational person, so I'm just gonna keep praying and keep believing that, you know, that person is out there, but also be, you know, have my eyes open instead of making excuses for the person and their behavior, just seeing for what it is and just keep it moving, you know. So for me, self-growth, more self-love and self-care. That's where I am right now.
I love that.
Sounds so good.
All right. Well, you guys, this has been another episode of Girl, I'm Grown. We gotta grow up from them couple of. We gotta grow up some more. This is very enlightening having these conversations with you guys. So, everybody, like always, please like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, listen again and again and again and again and again. Learn something. If you learn something from one of our episodes or have an experience you want to share, please feel free to share it with us. Yeah. We love y'all.
We do. We appreciate it.
And until next time, we out.
We out.